Board meeting, Thursday, November 21st. We are still awaiting a quorum. Len Lenahan will be here in a few minutes, and I think we will have a quorum in due course. But for now, let's start with our introductions, and then I think I'll give my report as we wait for a quorum. Go ahead, Arda, please.
Good morning. Arda Plana, Comptroller.
Peter Mranick, AVP of Academics.
Paulino, Business Manager and Risk Assessment.
Leslie Ortiz, Executive Director of Legal Services.
Good morning, Eric Mullins, the VP of Enrollment Management.
Good morning, Angelica Morrison, VP, Marketing Communications.
Okay.
John Frazier, Assistant to Dr. Sagai.
Kathy Colesto, Senior Vice President of Operations.
Bob Triboni, Assistant to the President for Special Projects.
Brian Noble, AV.
Kim Curley, Trustee.
Jeff Stone, Trustee.
Anita Guy, President.
Cameron Lloyd, Student Trustee.
Great, all right.
Amanda?
Just in time.
Hi.
It was your turn to speak. So we have all the stalwarts. Thank you all. I'll start with my report, and we can take care of that item. As is typical, I have been continuing my weekly discussions, at least, with Dr. Sagai on a variety of matters that come up during the week. And together we've been meeting, as usual, again, with the county executive and others on his staff on a monthly basis. I continue with community engagement on a variety of fronts. For example, I attended the Urban League Gala on November 16th, along with other representatives of the college. Dr. Sagai was out of state. We'll hear a little bit more about that. So she was not able to make it. But Arda was there, and Melody Baker and her husband Derek and James Blackwell and others. So it was a good evening. And thanks for all who supported that event. Saw Trustee Lewin there, for example, and just a whole array of folks from the local education and political scene. And great party as always. On November 2nd, I enjoyed attending one of our football games. I hadn't done that in some time, and it was great to go over and see where we're playing at Williamsville South, and to see the team performing well and being coached up, and the students there in the stands. It was a good sunny morning and a lovely time. We had on November 7th the gala at the Powerhouse, sponsored by the SUNY Erie Community College Foundation, and almost all of the trustees were in attendance. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we had a very nice event. It was intended at least as well as it was last year, and it was a pretty robust attendance, and a good musical scene during the night, and the food was delicious, courtesy of our culinary program, and all who attended, most of at the table here and elsewhere in the room, enjoyed that evening very much. So congratulations to the foundation for pulling that event off for the second year in a row. On November 6th, Dr. Sagai and I met at WBEN Studios with former Judge Penny Wolfgang, who now hosts a community affairs type radio program. And she has local leaders in various sectors speaking with her. And so we were interviewed about what is happening with Dr. Sagai's inauguration, with the college in general, and with the move of our South Campus location. So we were interviewed for at least half an hour, and that then appeared on WBEN and other radio stations a few days after that. And if anyone's interested in tuning into that, we have information. Dr. Sagai can provide the link for the podcast. But it was, I think, a very constructive discussion. We enjoyed having that chance with former Judge Wolfgang. On November 7th, Ken Crewley hosted the Budget Committee meeting, and I attended that. And we'll hear more about that during Ken's report. On December 4th, the two boards, that of the college and that of the foundation, will be meeting for a social and an event, a get-to-know-you better event, and hoping to build a closer rapport between those two boards. And I'm looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to see anything else. No, I guess the last thing I'll wish is a happy Thanksgiving. It's only been 3 weeks since we have met. And so our business agenda is on the light side today, but we will be having an executive session right off the bat with council. We'll be discussing lease negotiations with respect to our move of the South Campus and some collective bargaining points. So for those purposes, I'm asking for a motion to go into executive session, please.
So moved.
Jeff,
Yep.
you need to open the meeting.
Oh, all right. Sorry to do that. Been talking for 10 minutes. So, meeting's been open. All right. Roll call.
Melody Baker.
Here.
Ken Crewley.
Here.
Len Lenahan.
Coming any second.
Okay.
According to my phone call.
Amanda Lau.
Here.
Candace Morrison.
Here.
Carrie Phillips here. Jeffrey Stone.
Here.
Cameron Lloyd.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, a quorum being present, I declare the formal part of the meeting being open at 9:06 a.m. Len will be joining us, and as I said, let's have a motion for those reasons to go into executive session. For those in attendance, I don't expect it to be a long executive session, and we will then come back and dispatch our other business in fairly short order, I think. Amanda, you had a motion to go in? Did I hear that?
Melody.
Mel did.
yep.
All right.
So
Very
you
good.
sound similar.
If that's still on the table, I'll take a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be in executive session, and we'll let you know when we come out. And thank you for bearing with us during executive session. The board focused during executive session on collective bargaining matters and in particular on lease arrangements for our new campus at South and negotiations relating to that. The board took no formal action during this executive session. We're now going to move with a quorum having been established initially and existing throughout the executive session. Len Lenahan having joined during the executive session. We'll now move to our business and take action on a variety of fronts, which will actually move pretty quickly. The curriculum, student success, and let's approve the minutes first from our Halloween meeting, October 31st. I've reviewed them. I had no comments. Anyone else? Then a motion to approve October 31st board minutes. Len, and second, Cam. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are approved. Curriculum, student success, and diversity. Chair Candace Morrison, you have 2 items for approval.
Yes, we have 2 items for approval. Erickson is going to come up and talk about both. I'll say that we have a very exciting item for approval as well that happy to talk some more about.
Great, thank you. Good morning and happy Thanksgiving as well if I don't say it. There are 2 items here for the board's consideration for approval. The first is our NC SARA renewal. This is coming a little bit earlier than what we had seen in previous years. There isn't really much of a change as it relates to the content within it. At a high level, what this agreement allows us to do is to be able then to have our online credit offerings transfer successfully then to 49 other states. So it helps with our online student activity and transfer success of those.
This is something we've been a party to and are just renewing.
That's correct, yes. The only thing that's changing is the typical time in which we then.
We've all seen the summary of it. Yep.
I think the one state we discussed is California. right?
California.
California is the outlier. We can't transfer.
And thanks to Adrian for finding that detail for us.
Proposition 1709.
There you go.
It's a
I
real
should have asked who was the 50th state.
Yes, I asked that exact question during.
When
our
you said
process
49, I
as well.
said, is it California? They have an articulation agreement, 1709, that has been a nightmare
Yes.
in terms of transfer. So very familiar with that. I was going to say that's a huge win.
The second item for consideration is our Form 1A program announcement for our mechatronics program, who is incredibly led by Professor Gullo, who really does a remarkable job with our partnership and expansion with Northlands, as well as the work that he's tremendously doing here at the North Campus. What this will allow then is for a 2-year degree from our current mechatronics certificate that we offer. The mechatronics certificate credentials and classwork will stack into this 2-year degree, but it'll help further than not only students to be able to extend their education, but also help us to be able to provide more to the advanced manufacturing space and other related industries within our region.
That was very exciting, and that's the news you were thinking of.
Yep,
Want to
yep,
talk more
it
about
is.
that? We were just, it was great to see the executive summary. The mechatronics program is a huge positive for Erie Community College, and to see this expanding and future expansion anticipated is very exciting.
So I would move both items for board approval.
Thank you, I agree. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Both those items as listed and distributed are approved. Thank you, Candace. Talent, Diversity, Equity, and Belonging Chair Amanda Lau.
So we have there's 2 items listed, but it's the same item. Personnel agenda, we did receive this outside of committee, but I did speak with Audium about it, and I am in favor. This obviously is in relation to Gail, so thank you, Gail. We have a ton of projects, a ton of initiatives, and this is in line with the board's support of Audium and her vision for the college. So expanding the role, expanding the job duties, and the high level of commitment that Gail has shown the college, and we're very appreciative of that. I am in favor of this agenda item.
Thank you. And Dr. Sagad, do you want to add anything to
Sure,
that?
I echo everything, and I think Gail has been, how long you been with us, Gail? 40 years. And I have to say, Gail had a wonderful birthday yesterday too, so happy birthday, Gail. And she was celebrating with me, and she was here till like 4:30. She's like, I gotta go to dinner with my family, so that's how dedicated she is. But I can't say enough, but I do want to emphasize that I'm very excited about the opportunity that the college has, particularly as it relates to going out and doing a lot of the work with the community. One of the things that was very clear to me when I came to the college in different role is that our follow-through is always a challenge with our community at every aspect. And so I am committed to following through. Whatever project, Glenn, you know this, you probably heard it, is to do that. And so part of that is really having the necessary, not only staff, but the resource and the knowledge that certainly Gail bring forward. And the plan is to really backfill. Gail, as you know, we had Kelly was helping the board in a full-time capacity, and Gail has been doing that work. So it's really to offset some of that work. I know we are going to have a software to help us with some of that, but there's a lot of work that requires to make sure that our board is also supported. So we will backfill current Gail's position, so we will be posting for that position, but I'm honored to have Gail to support not only me, but also the senior leadership to really follow through with the initiative that we have with the larger community.
You know, in my mind, this is really just an acknowledgement of what Gail has already been doing.
Yes.
But
Yes.
there is an expanded role because you're taking a very lean forward approach to your presidency, and the board supports that. And we want to make sure that you have the resources that you need to achieve the objectives that you've identified. Gail is part of that, and the 40-year history and collective memory is really a valuable asset. And we've dodged your retirement bullet a few times.
And it's not coming anytime soon. So.
and we are glad to see your title and your situation here at the college matching your contribution now. Appreciate that.
Jeff, I'd just like to add, Gail has been an exemplary, not only employee, but leader in this college. And I just think we should amend her contract to say that she can't retire until she hits 50 years.
I like that. I like that.
We'll send that over to Leslie Ortiz for analysis.
This is well deserved, and
I like that.
stick it with us for a while.
Very good. Very good. So we voted. We voted on that. So that's great.
Thank you.
Did we vote on that?
No, we
did
did not.
No, we didn't.
No.
Okay.
I will make a motion.
Did we have a motion? Okay, that's right. I want to make sure we actually vote.
Second.
And Pam second. So Amanda and Pam on on the agenda item, which in particular involves Gail's title and position, and that's backed up by the position justification form that we saw on page 23 of our materials. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Gail, and thank you, Dr. Sagai, for bringing that forward when you perceive the need for additional help. We want to make sure we're there for you when that occurs.
Thank you.
Items for information come next, and I'll start, please, with the Budget, Audit, and Facilities Committee Chair Ken Crewley.
First item about the capital projects, I'd ask Paul to just give us a brief rundown about city campus, what's going on with the roof and stuff like that.
The roof is anticipated to begin the atrium enclosure on December 26th. That will be completed by the end of the winter break, I believe January 16th, so that classes can begin, but the atrium will be closed down during the construction period. The construction period will start May 21st, which is the day after spring semester ends, and will continue until completion. They're in the process of sending the bid documents out for Kittinger, for the hall work being done in Kittinger to upgrade that facility. The air handler, we had our first construction meeting on December 3rd for the Spring Student Center to replace that. The Bell Center, we had a final meeting with Wendell about a week and a half ago, and that's anticipated to go out to bid for the Fields project, probably by the end of this month, early next month. So we're getting geared up for next summer.
Thank you, Paul.
So the atrium is going to be closed for an entire semester?
Yes, until completion. So it'll begin, it's anticipated through next summer.
And we do, just to add to that, we will be having a meeting with the team to really discuss that and be very detailed about it. And I think to make sure that we have a regular update from the facility so the college community knows exactly where we are with this. So we will have a meeting to be very detailed about what that will look like.
moving on, the facility rentals and waivers is pretty standard from month to month. Pickleball and use of our facilities at Flickinger are helpful in bringing in some money. The waivers concern civil service exams primarily. Arda, can bring us up to date on the budget and also the LMHL.
I really don't have much to report since October 31st, August 31st, 2024. We're still working on it. Our auditors are expected to start their audit December 2nd. And then fall is also performing well compared to budget and prior year at this point in time. And as far as the reserves, more discussions to come December 5th, next budget and audit committee meeting. That's all I have. And the LMHF, it's performing just as we expected on a negative trend, the overall performance, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Supplier report, which was distributed to everyone. I had no concerns or comments about that. And then the last item is our minutes from our committee meeting.
Very well, thank you, Ken. We'll take those minutes and file them, and I participated in that meeting. I read those minutes. Curriculum, Student Success, and Diversity, Chair Candace Morrison.
Yes, in our materials, we have the meeting minutes from the August meeting, and I believe we're also going to present some updated enrollment numbers as well.
This, by the way, is the enrollment after it got finalized last month. You remember we said we will have a broader report in November as to exactly where we wound up in the fall enrollment.
And maybe to expand on that for the board as well as to the community, data is integral to what we do on a day-to-day basis in enrollment management and closely collaborating with IRAP and Kathy. So on a daily level, we will monitor our local enrollment data so that then we are able to provide up-to-date as well as point-in-time comparisons to different stakeholders here within the institution, the department chairs, deans, Adrian's team, etc. Those data are then also used in collaboration with our institutional research team that then submits this to SUNY on a periodic basis each semester. And so SUNY has two very important timelines each semester, each period actually, that they then, we submit data to. The first is what's referred to as Early Student Survey, or ESS for short. This is then what largely contributes to our census data. At the end of the semester, or after which, there's also what's referred to as end of term. So this is a comparison of students that are here at that census period and then who is here at the end of that term. In talking with Dr. Sagai and our leadership, that's where we want to then make sure that we are presenting to you the data that has been then vetted as it relates then to SUNY, and then reporting out those numbers to the public and the community. So that's where we're excited here to be able to present to you here for the fall semester our census data. I think to put it in context so it's meaningful for this conversation, I realized as I was conversing about this, they're all blue, so I'm going to be using lighter blue and darker shades of blue, but the first three rows that you see here that are lighter blue, this is what reflects our non-high school population that is here for the fall semester and how it relates then to our early student survey from fall of 2023. So when we look at our incoming student population, those that are maybe transferring in or coming here for the first time, we are seeing nearly 4% headcount gain in that category. That's an important road to me in the work that I do because that's a gauge that we look at in terms of the interest of coming to SUNY here. We know that students in our region have choices in terms of different schools as well as career options that they look at. The incoming student population is, to me and our team, a reflection then of what we are doing to reflect as well as measure interest to coming to SUNY Erie. And thanks to Angelica, our admissions team, our faculty, we're seeing year-over-year gains in that category. The undergrad continuing returning, this is then keeping our students here. And I think all of us on this team, as well as with Dr. Sagai's leadership, have heard that retention is the new enrollment, and that's a really important measure through this line here. And we did see that there are gains in stabilization in this category this fall relative to the prior year. And then when we look at then our population without the high school students, we are seeing that there's a 2% gain from this year in headcount compared to the prior year. I want to put that in context. So in the very bottom, you'll see the New York State Community College enrollment this fall compared to last fall, which is a little less than 2%. That category actually does include the high school population across the state for all two-year schools. So without us even looking at our high school population, where we then are awarding credit while they're in high school, we are still beating the state average for our students that are here at the school. When you do look at our high school population, and big credit to Adrian as well as Cheryl and the expansion of our partnerships with our high schools, you're seeing a significant gain this fall in the high school population. That's a slightly darker concurrent enrolled in high school population, almost a 30% increase this year compared to last year. That's largely attributed to our expanding partnership with Buffalo Public High School, as well as also our other area schools. The key thing about that is that once again shows interest in the power of the SUNY Erie credits. How do we matriculate those students here to the school is a key priority. So that then hopefully in fall of 25, we're able to see that incoming student percentage and number grow once again. When we look at the aggregate, our grand total, and this is a true apples to apples comparison then with our SUNY community college counterparts, we're over 6% in terms of head count at this point compared to the state average in the community college sector, which is a little less than 2%. So I think this is a huge testament and collaboration of Dr. Sagai's leadership, the academics, our communications, our admissions team, working together, I think, in that one college approach to highlight the value of SUNY Erie, not only to come here, but to stay here as well.
Thank you.
You know, this is great. Erickson, it must be very satisfying to deliver a report like this. Dr. Sagai, Angelica, there's a lot of hands that go into something like this. And to a large extent, a $90 or $100 million organization is like the Titanic. And you know, we know we're up against difficult demographic trends nationally, statewide, and locally. Those are not within our control, but those things that are within our control, we've been leaning forward and managing. And I think Dr. Sagai gets a significant degree of credit for that, and as she is led as our interim official in charge, and then as our president. It doesn't happen like a light switch, but we are now seeing blue instead of red, and we'll be reporting that to the county executive when we meet with him and his staff. Every meeting he begins with questions about enrollment, and I think we have to recognize that he represents the community. So if we're not offering something that people are interested in, we've got to re-examine our approach, and that's what we have been doing. Ken?
Jeff, along that line, there was an article in the Buffalo News in September, maybe early October, about enrollment in all the colleges around Western New York. And our numbers weren't there, and the reporter in that article was speculating that we had gone down, and that's why we were reporting. So we should certainly be doing something now to publicize this good news. It's very good.
And I think if I may, I think part of it is really getting that official clean data, and I think that we did correspond with that Buffalo News specifically to tell them that we don't have a clean number yet, and so they took that approach. But I want to say a couple of things here. Number one, I want to thank the faculty and staff for all of the hard work, as well as the union leadership and the Senate for really pushing, not only meeting with our new prospective students and getting them to register, but also our continued students. As we talked a lot, new students to come, we need them. But the key is that we want to make sure that their experience, especially in their first semester, but first 3-4 weeks, that's when students decide whether they want to stay with the college or not. So I think putting that effort. On the new side, there are some work that we're doing to really increase that. We have decided that we were going to divide two things. One, traditional students and being managed and really maximizing that relationship with the high schools. Our faculty do our advanced studies, so they have an opportunity to go into the high schools more often than our counselors. So really leveraging our faculty, and I have spoken to a couple of faculty who are very much interested in helping us with that so that the students are matriculating with the college, but also being very intentional with other partnership as it relates to traditional students. And then on the other side, as we know, is that the non-traditional students. So we have a very much focus on that side as well, by way of our pathway, our international students, and others, and working with our nonprofit organization to really increase that opportunity, particularly as it relates to our new immigrant. And so we will be focusing on that very intentionally. On the continuous side, what we have been doing, and once we get the data really clean, we'll be able to report it through this committee, is that we are doing it by division, by program, so that every division have a retention goal, a persistent and retention goal, and then by program. So our deans under Adrian are working on that, and so we do have preliminary goal that they're doing that. Again, I'm very big on making sure that our data is clean. And by that I mean is that we have to account for every student and making sure that it makes sense in terms of how we're reporting that information. So I want to again thank our faculty and staff who are working on that, and to make sure that we have clear data, but very specific goal by division, by program. In addition to that is really making sure that we could project our graduation, right? Not only do we want to retain the students, but we want to get them to the finish line. So our goal is to really make sure that we know right now who is anticipated to graduate in the January semester. And what does that look like? And making sure that our students are getting the necessary support to be in that finish line. And then equally to make sure that those students are working. That's the big thing that is, everyone is being challenged in higher ed. It's great. Let's bring them in, let's get them through, but then are they working after they finish? And so we have an opportunity as a community college. Our curriculum is relevant to the workforce, so the key is that whether they're in liberal art or in engineering technology or in our health department, that our students are ultimately going into the workforce and or going into transferring to the UB or Buff State within the SUNY system first, and certainly other colleges in the area. So I just wanted to highlight that, but the goal is for us to make sure that we are able to communicate to the board and to the larger college through through this committee to make sure that we get the information to you.
I think the point is well taken that was made about making sure that we don't keep this under a basket, that we make sure that this is known. And while Dr. Sagai and her leadership team, her senior executive staff, set the tone, Erickson implements, the people who are facing our students every day are the faculty members. And Andy Sacco is here, came in after introductions, but for those online, just want you to know that Andy is here. And Andy, this is something to be very proud of with your members. I remember board meetings and Senate meetings where Colleen Quinn or you would be talking about the need to make sure that all the students who are coming back in the fall are approached in the spring and not left to drift through the summer where we're understaffed, to make sure that they've done their things. What about FAFSA? Has that been filled out? We're starting to try to put the infrastructure in place to make sure that we don't lose students unnecessarily. And sometimes they go on to other things and it's fine, but we shouldn't be losing them unnecessarily. And I just want to give Andy a chance to speak to this, and also Adrian, because I don't know, the frontline people here are doing something that's very much appreciated and very valuable. Andy, you want to mention?
I really don't have a lot to say other than, I'm happy that our faculty have engaged and, given the chance, and, under the new leadership, things seem to be working better. We've got a long way to go though. And, our marketing has tremendously improved with our addition. And I think, just seeing in the community, the fact that people want to come to your community college, and understanding that South Campus is still a campus. So that's the important thing.
Thanks,
you got to get that information out there.
It's an important partnership here. And Adrian and Angelica, I just want to give you guys a chance to comment on this.
I just want to say that the faculty are the real heroes here. They asked for a lot of information, we provided it to them, and then they acted on it. We supported them in any way that we could, through marketing efforts, through enrollment management. So, and it's great that we're able to report that we've seen quantifiable increases that we can be proud of. And to Andy's point, we still have more work to do, but I think we're trending in the right direction.
Good.
Angelica, you've heard some praise of some of the marketing efforts that you've been overseeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that, definitely. And it has been a teamwork between myself, Adrian, and Erickson. We were able to, get the message out there on the different campaigns. Right now, we're working on the registration for the spring semester, getting all the materials ready for that and pushing things out there, and also updating our digital ads. So it's definitely good to see that there's been some progress, but we've got a long way to go. Definitely not a time to celebrate.
Thank you. And just, stay in collaboration, and the board will be very supportive of, whatever we need to do to keep our students and attract our students. And I really want to thank everybody involved. This is very exciting news today. Erickson, thank you.
Thank you.
And just to look closely at the number, the increase of 89 students was about a 3.5%. So I think that drives home how important each student and each interaction is, and that goes back to the faculty as well, because that's the frontline connection and making sure those students, feel welcome here and stay here and also meet their objectives as well. So.
Yeah, this is not the Ohio State University or the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
We can have a personal relationship with each student, with everybody engaged. So that's exciting. Marketing, we just touched on it, Len, but anything further to add there from your
No, we
committee?
didn't meet, but I also want to acknowledge Angelica's efforts, because the buzz is improved. And it's obvious she's, working in coordination with the rest of the leadership team. So, Angelica, I just want to thank you as marketing chair. You're just doing a great job.
Appreciate that. Yeah, when I was at the football game, who was the first person I saw? Angelica, at the table, passing out brochures and making sure she spoke to everyone who attended the game. Policy and governance, Mel Baker has had to leave at 10:30. Do you know of anything coming out of that committee?
Not yet.
Okay. Strategic planning and assessment update from Carrie Phillips, Chair.
This was not a meeting month, so we don't have anything to report, and we'll meet next month on this one.
Very well. And Chair Amanda Lau, Talent, Diversity, Equity, and Belonging. We have a transaction report that received outside of committee.
Right, so we have the transaction report that's created using Workday. The reason, this is an expanded time period, so you'll see August to October, because I don't believe that we had a transaction report for our last meeting,
Yeah,
so
it
that's
looked-
why it's
it looked
longer.
long, and I
It
said
looks longer because the time frame's longer.
Right.
Yeah,
And these are additions, subtractions, people
Correct.
retiring, and so forth.
correct.
Yep. Okay. Anything else from your viewpoint or committee right now?
Nope.
Okay. Technology, Carrie Phillips, update.
We're meeting quarterly now, so we had the update last month, so unless anything comes up, we won't meet again until January.
Very well. I have given my chair report, and I'll turn to Cam now for student trustee report, please. Cameron Lloyd.
Good morning, everyone. Happy
Good morning.
Thanksgiving. So just over the recent weeks, I guess, or this has been over a year's effort, at least since I've been in my position as trustee. City Campus received furniture improvements to the student lounge areas, as well as parts to the atrium to enhance the student experience throughout City Campus and just create new collaborative study spaces. This project has, like I said, it's meant a lot to us, particularly City Campus SGA. Because like you said, those spaces, how like the students mentioned at South, those study and just a space to hang out is so important to the college experience. You want to chill with your friends, not at a lunch table, somewhere you can just really literally just lounge, kick your feet up, maybe watch TV or something. And I will say, like, ever since we opened, when I tell you, it's hard to find a seat now. That's how many students,
That's what I heard.
That's how many students are in these spaces now. Like, the atrium used to be like dead. It used to be you could find and sit anywhere, but it is so hard to sit. It is. I love to see the students like enjoying the furniture and stuff and
Good.
everything. And there's more to be done. Like, we have more stuff coming. So, we're also doing a coat drive for the winter, and then today we have a Thanksgiving meal planned at City Campus. And City SGA and North, we attended the 50th anniversary for the Student Assembly in Syracuse. Basically for that, it's in preparation for the National Legislative Summit. I believe I sent Gail the information for that, but that's in February. So we're bringing, basically we're securing funding for community colleges. And I also had the pleasure of meeting with Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes as well, as gaining more support for February. So, been busy.
Yeah,
so,
well, you've taken a very active hand. Thank you.
Of course.
Cam.
Yes.
One thing about the atrium, that's an interesting point you raised there. And Dr. Sagai, as we know, the atrium is under some, constraints going
I'm sorry,
forward.
just to point out too, I can't thank Dr. It wasn't even just me. Dr. Sagai, maintenance, Dean of Students. There's so many people I think, but particularly Dr. Sagai and her help. So I give her most of the appreciation. So.
But we'll have to thank Paul and Dr. Sagai,
Yes, yes.
how we maintain that ability for students to enjoy that benefit while we're getting the atrium over the finish line, right?
Absolutely.
So that we don't lose momentum and have it all scatter to the winds.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Cam. Anything else? All right. College Senate report, Chair Colleen Quinn reports that her boys have doctor's appointments this morning and she can't log in remotely, so we will hear from her presumably on December 19th when we next meet. President's report, Dr. Sagai.
Sure. So, you know, I love my images, and so, and I try as best as I can to attend a lot of the events, but that's not always possible, and I do want to thank Jeff and the trustees and other folks in the college who attend those. So as you can see, the men's and women's basketball is still going, and they're very active, and I'm very proud to see our athletic really develop and really have that campus and college feeling. Jeff, you mentioned the Buffalo Urban Gala was well attended, and so thank you for representing the college. I think we have, maybe Paul, you could, or Adrian, speak to Carter's visit from SUNY. I wasn't here, so.
Carter Strickland visited us last week we reviewed, he's the SUNY lead for their sustainability efforts, so we toured STEM, we toured the Nano Center, we talked about a lot of the things that are on our plate, and he seemed pretty impressed with some of the things we're doing. We talked about some of the academic programs that are coming down the pipe or that would like to be expanded upon, so we thought it was a very good visit.
Thank you. I think this is part of Chancellor King's effort to really help and support colleges and universities, and so part of what happens a lot is his leadership comes and meet the campuses. So we had about probably 5-6 different leaders from the SUNY system come to visit the college and help with anything that they can. But this is a huge emphasis as well for the Chancellor and the SUNY Board of Trustees. You can see again the football team are doing CPR, and I know Jeff said they saw them. So part of what I did during my visit at the American Association of State Colleges and University, they talked about a lot about athletics, and so I was able to really brag about our football team. I have a picture with them, so I was showing that to everyone. So sport is a big deal, I think, for me and for us. Sport is one of the ways that we could really engage our students, not only our team, but also to create a true engagement for our college, but also focusing to make sure that athletics are really given the necessary support, both academically and otherwise, to make sure that they are being engaged beyond just the sport and beyond playing. And you can see, again, we have the open house at 3 of our locations. The turnout is awesome. Again, I can't emphasize the thank you to the faculty and staff. And when I say staff, everyone is involved to make sure that this experience goes well. So thank you. Next slide. Okay, so you can see the tour of Monroe Community College Public Safety Campus. Our county exec, alongside with James Blackwell, went to visit. That's the police academy version of Monroe Community College. They are top notch in that area. And so one of the things that we're working is to collaborate with them to really mimic that concept that they have in Monroe Community College. So our county exec went there to visit with their county exec and other members. As you can see there, I'm very thrilled. So we're excited about this opportunity for us to collaborate and to really reimagine our police academy. So more to come on that. And then I know we talked a little bit about the Foundation Gala. As you can see, our students representing and being there, that these were students through the Auto Tech, and they were there. And normally our Auto Tech students, I don't see them with suits, right, or tie. They usually have their uniform. So it was exciting to see them, the men and women, wearing the attires there, as you could see. And then, you know, the Association of State Colleges and University, this was held in Puerto Rico, and part of it is that thank you to the board, the SUNY board, as well as the ECC board, who ensured that I took part in the new President Academy, and so we graduated. So this is an event that I went to, and they provide a mentor. So I do have a mentor that they assigned, a seasoned president. But this event hosted about 350 college presidents and chancellors across the nation, and we had an awesome opportunity to really talk. As you could see, the Chancellor was our one of the speakers. The State Secretary of Education was the keynote speaker at this event, and so great opportunity. One of the things that I would like to share is that we are moving in the right direction. We are doing a lot of the good things that a lot of good colleges are practicing. To echo to Andy's point and others, we have a long way to go, but I could tell you, I felt very confident that the college is in the right direction. So, we're driving this train, so I'm excited about that. So the last thing that I want to say that is awesome news is that we did have our listening session of the South Campus. We had students and faculty participate. They turned out. They were very passionate about particularly the campus, both from the student side as well as our faculty and staff. As you know, our board and myself and the college community, we insisted that we have a presence at the South Campus, that we owe it to our community to make sure that we serve that particular community with the understanding that our students, yes, they could travel, but we want to make sure that we have a presence and meet the students where they are. So very excited about that. We took a lot of feedback, more to come to continue to engage on that. But what I would like to officially announce today is that we did get approval from State Ed about the relocation of South. So thank you. That requires the work of staff. I do want to take the moment to thank Kathy Calastro, because part of that is that we really had to put a report together, and we got a lot of positive feedback from SUNY as well as the Chancellor. They did read our report and our proposal, so it's really the leadership of Kathy Calastro that got that to in front of the State Ed and got us to the point of having approval to relocate our South Campus. So the work is going to start officially now and have the ability to engage our faculty, staff, and most certainly our students as well as the larger community. With that being said, I just want to be clear and be official that we are open for business at the South Campus. This relocation does not take place officially until fall of 2025. So what that means is that we are still operating out of the South Campus. We are going to enroll students in the spring semester, and so we have open house as we do at the other campuses. We have events, our students are having events, our faculty are there, so we are at the campus. I just want to be very clear that we will be at the campus and long way from really exiting the South Campus. And with that, it also will take a process, and there's a policies and things that we have to follow when we get to that point.
Now, like with enrollment, the movement of a campus, even a mile or two away, is not a light switch. It's a process. It will take some time. Nothing will change on Southwestern Boulevard for quite some time. And I think it's important for the broader community as well as the college community to realize that this is not something that's just happening today or happening next month. We're certainly in the process of undertaking the decision we've made, but there is a time frame here.
That's right.
So that's important. And on the point, Kathy Calastro, I'm so glad that you are the person putting information together for outside bodies, such as our accrediting body and SED and the Chancellor's Office, because the thorough approach that you take to your job in terms of analyzing situations, amassing data, and then putting that data in a form that we can understand and that outside actors can understand is highly valuable. And this is just another example of something you've quietly done behind the scenes to advance the college. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. In terms of old business, we always take a transportation update because in the board's view, transportation is very central to the student experience.
So nothing new. We are finalizing our student survey. We're working again with faculty and staff to increase the participation of our students. So we did extend that survey out to probably December to ensure that we get as many feedback from our students. So more to come on that.
And as far as any other old business, we've covered quite a bit this morning. Any other items? Hearing none, I'll move to any new business that hasn't been discussed. Thank you, everyone, for attention. We've had executive session already. And just a preview of next month's meeting, we are going to meet on December 19th as scheduled at 9 a.m. here. The early outlook is that we'll have an executive session to start the meeting, as we did today. and I don't quite know at this point how long that will last, but that will be the pattern, and it may be for a little while as we're finalizing our lease arrangements at South, and the board has to stay engaged with that, and we want to take advantage of having council present at 9 o'clock. So that's the early outlook, but the meeting is December 19th, and I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, right?
Thank
And
you.
enjoy the holiday. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Pam? And Len second? We all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you.